In the game of life, you meet many friends, you go on many adventures, you do many things. Or sometimes you don't do much at all. But if you're doing something, well, you're doing the right thing, because you're here. Welcome to the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series. I'm Nathanius, joined by Cole Taran, and we are at the very least going to be able to give you some StarCraft, even if you want to do nothing else with your Sunday, if your cartoon shows have turned off, if you're bored, if you're out of things to do because there's no football today.
Right. Why not watch StarCraft?
Got you. We've got you
covered.
We're here for you.
For your entertainment.
It's the only reason we're here. If no one tuned into this at all, I can guarantee you this show would not happen.
Oh,
so,
100%. So
thank you. Thank you for hanging out with us. We've got our loser match set up. It is Silky versus Jason, Terran versus Zerg memes. And I just want to say quickly before we get into this, Jason, good friend of mine, he's attending the wedding yesterday of a beloved StarCraft community member. Sal, if you're watching, we love you. Congratulations. And also, you owe Jason at least one or two now for the state that he has been in to compete today. But I hope you guys had a great day. Congrats again, Sal. We love you. We are loaded in to Acropolis to start this best of three. In the bottom right, we have the Red Zerg player. His name is Silky.
And he'll be facing off against the groomsman himself. It's Jason. One of the groomsmen, I guess, rather.
Yep.
And yeah.
Jason looked pretty fresh yesterday. They're posting a lot of pictures of him.
Oh yeah?
And I was like, he's got to play WCS tomorrow, huh? Good one.
Not only got the hardest group, and then also got the hardest timing for his group.
Yeah, you know, when the WCS round of 16 is on the same day as the Catalina wine mixer, you can't say no.
Oh man.
But for those, since Jason is someone that we don't see as much, this is kind of a funny. This feels weird, right? Because Silky's actually now a mainstay challenger player. We see him. He's come up. He's been competing. He's been here a ton. I think this is Jason's first time. Awesome Sauce was telling me that he's qualified for WCS in a few years now.
Yeah, 2016 last time I saw him.
Jason, as I said, he's a very good friend of mine. He streams regularly. He is, as far as Terran streamers go, he is one of the better ones. I believe he's generally like 6K plus on NA. So he is very good. He plays versus the best of the best there. And while some people would say that's not saying as much, if you want good Terran gameplay, he's very good. So
can't go wrong watching some Juggernaut Jason.
Yeah, the series against Scarlet, I could definitely see a bit of nerves, right? He's getting back up on the stage. And unfortunately, StarCraft has just been growing so much that way more people watch Challenger now than they did back then. So he's actually got more eyeballs on your mistakes. And that's something that I think does affect a lot of our younger players. Since the story for Challenger this year has been that a lot of new NA guys have been stepping it up. And some of them more than others, but I'm looking forward to seeing how far some of these guys can get over the next couple of seasons, and goodness knows whatever will be happening in 2020.
Yeah, that's crazy that 2020 is next year. And
I'm mostly excited for the glasses. They keep trying to shoehorn the second eye into like the 8 or the 9. It's just like, no.
No, now we can get the clean 2020.
That's what I want.
It's going to be the one good year for the next 9 of the glasses.
Yep, you hold on to that. Hold on to that.
Treasure it always, as in this game, it is very, very standard stuff. Coming down 1-1-1 with that tech lab for Jason as that starport comes along. Yeah.
I wanted to see him BC Rush, but he did Banshees, right, and Hellbats against Sasha, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Jason try something like that. I know in our graphic he's Jason, but you guys probably see him in a lot of chats you watch as Juggernaut Jason.
Yes.
He's great. He's got some great emotes as well. But
Is he trying to rebrand as just Jason?
I don't know. I think it may have been for also possibly the sake of the graphics. I don't know if he asked to just be Jason, but maybe he's doing it! Ooh. He's getting a fusion core!
Yes!
Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to do one of those crappy Banshee builds. I love you, Jason. I don't care if this works or not. You've made me happy.
That's all we can ask for, as the Overlord gets a
My personal happiness is the only thing that matters on the show. Can I get another coffee, damn it?
Two people just ran off stage. You guys can't see it, but the Lings, getting in here, getting a little
It's
bit
a good
of
little poke.
Yeah, not too shabby here. Of course, that Overlord saw the first 3 buildings, no idea about this fusion core, and as you said, went for that Hellbat Banshee play in his first series, so could be a little deceiving here for the side of Silky.
Yeah, if these Lings are able to get in the main, that's bad, but he does not. And there's some stuff to be gleaned here for Silky. Like, you don't see gas in the natural, so you know it's not something insane, like the double BC rush, which is something that we do actually still. It pops up, not as much, but like it was one of those builds. He's gonna get an armory, and that's also big. So the armory, we're gonna see BC Hellbat. They actually came over and asked me if I wanted a coffee. I'm sorry. I love you. I love you.
Man, the power of being a caster, huh? That's
I gotta get something for doing this for 8 years.
You and your silver tongue.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So the BC's about to come out. We've got the Overseer flying into the main base. The Viking is gonna
start of the cloak as well. I love that.
Ooh, he's trying to debate him. But he's gonna see the core de la fusion.
Shoot him the other direction.
In the arm.
Shoot him the other direction.
I've done that too.
I think it would have worked. But so does see that, knows what's up. Of course, that battle cruiser just now popping out.
That SCV held position and blocked for his homie, so he could finish the other depot while the Hellions killed the Lings. What a great.
That's the true American, the Terran hero here. You know, it's not Jim Raynor, it's the SCV.
He Captain America that Zergling.
He sure
dove
did.
on it. He just dove on it. Didn't know. He survived, of course, but he didn't know he was going to survive against that Zergling. So shout out to
Selfless
you.
bravery.
Cancel the cloak, Jason. You don't need it, by the way, honey. He's getting his next battle cruiser out.
Yeah, on the way here. It's that first one, able to deny some mining time in that main base. The Queen's going to be enough to deter that, as it is the Spire coming down for Silky. Those Corruptors going to be very crucial in helping defend this, as we've seen.
There's an important thing to identify here for Jason, is that if Silky is trying to do it's kind of like the most old school way of dealing with mech, which is it was like in Wings of Liberty or Heart of the Storm, it'd be very normal to players would seesaw between huge fluxes of roaches and huge numbers of mutalisks, because the whole point of it was to just kill them by bouncing back and forth, and they'd make them build Thors, then the roaches come, then they build tanks, then the mutas come. But for this type of style, you can do the same thing with roaches and corruptors, where he's like, well, the roaches will kill everything on the ground, the corruptors will kill the BCs, and if the Terran doesn't make a quick adjustment to tanks to deal with the roaches, at least it's not mutas, right? Or cyclones, or a lot of cyclones, then you can get bowled over by the roaches. And we have already seen that in some of the other games where people have tried strategies like this against Zerg over the course of these 4 days of broadcasts that we've been doing. So that's just going to be one of those things to keep your eyes open for, is if there's a huge flux of either roaches or corruptors. He's got a ton of money, Spire's done, okay, it's going to be corruptors.
Yeah, 10 on the way. So that Yamato cannon still getting research on the back side of things here for Jason. That gas income limited, and also having to invest money in that cloak as well. That did finish up on the back side of all this. More factories coming down for Juggernaut Jason, going up to 5. So this mech force going to be very potent as the Hellions continue to poke at the edge of this creep. They're doing a good job denying it so far, generally speaking.
Yeah. So the BCs are going to come up and poke. It does kind of suck that one of them's not fully healed. Both of them have their tactical jump available, which is the most important thing. Yamato is about to finish. You will want that, because if the BCs just try to fight the Corruptors, they won't kill any, and then you'll waste money repairing. Like, that turns into bad value. But if you can at least Yamato 1 Corruptor per BC, you feel good, and he doesn't get to do that. So that's actually a really nice stop here for Silky. And talked about the roaches. Hellions shouldn't get too much done.
Yeah, getting in this mineral line.
Okay, well, the roaches ran away. So
what is happening?
Well, yes, but actually no. So he wanted to yeet himself onto the BCs, so that because basically what he was hoping was that there'd be no missile turrets at home, so that he'd be able to just fly into Jason's base and kill all the battle cruisers. But the battle cruisers hid themselves pretty damn well, and he is not going to be able to kill any of them.
Wow, very nicely done here for Jason.
Extremely well done. Extremely well done. Because if he had been able to just... I've had this happen to me so many times, too, where some of these guys open with a bunch of corruptors, and then they force you to teleport back, but you're, like, taking a third, and you're getting your infrastructure together, you're getting your upgrades, extra factories, depots, bada bing, bada boom, but then you realize, well, he didn't go mutas, so I didn't build turrets, and then it clicks. Oh, my God.
Boom.
12 corruptors run in and kill all my BCs while they're being repaired. Then you know... Then you go make a salty post on the forums as all, that's kind of like Terran Hajj, right? So.
Yeah, like that's the Terran gurus passing that on to the new Terran players as they install the game.
Yeah, they say every Terran player has to take a trip to the Battle.net forums at one point in their life to complain, so.
Scrolls through. Oh,
but not today.
Not today.
Not today.
This is a day of Terran victory for Jason.
Well, he was in a pretty good spot, but it is Hellion Cyclone still requires a lot of good micro.
Right.
There's no straight up win condition for Hellion Cyclone. It's mostly starve out the Zerg, pick off their bases, and then eventually overwhelm them as they run out of stuff to trade against you. Because that's what the mobility is all about, is being able to pick off bases and whatnot.
Right.
Since he's not hard committing to the battle cruisers, he's adding even more factories.
Yeah, he's just going to have so much production here as Pasturing Glands coming up on the back side of things for Silky as these Ravagers do a nice job forcing this back, getting some map control back for Silky, and forcing Jason all the way back outside of his third base now.
I will bring our attention back to that disgusting Marine Lord game with Cyril, and I will say that you do not want to, no matter how much of a lead you think you have, get fungled and hit with Corrosive Bile on Cyclones, because Cyclones are just very, very low hit point units. So if they get grabbed, if they get killed, you're in for some trouble. Riding the struggle bus. In
for a bad time indeed, as that one Cyclone was as well. Ling's catching one. Pasturing Glands gets closer to finishing up. Those first few Infestors gonna pop out shortly after. 19 Banelings and he morphed in range of these Cyclones, gonna try and cancel what they can.
Now the real dream is that if he actually gets a couple lock-ons to the Corruptors. If the Corruptors die, the battle cruisers can be micro to kill all of this. I firmly believe.
Absolutely.
Actually, I'm gonna take a step back and I'm gonna slightly retract that, if not only because I just realized Jason hasn't actually been upgrading, and I do not like that. He got +1 vehicle armor, but he has no attack upgrades.
Yeah.
And at worst, you should just get the attack upgrades, even if you don't want upgrades. I don't know why you wouldn't want upgrades, but even if you didn't want upgrades, you should get the attack upgrade for the BCs, because if the Zerg gets any Carapace upgrades at all, it's worthless.
Right.
However, Zerg got no Carapace upgrades, so I'm just trying to understand this game right now, and it's a bit crazy. It's a little bit crazy.
It's a little bit wild, a little bit out there as these queens come forward, the transfuses, making them nigh immortal as they continue this fight.
However, burning through the transfuses before the fight is definitely better because the Terran stuff can be repaired and there's no charges or energy to wait for that. It's just cash money cash. And Jason's checkbook it's not fat, but it's not malnourished either.
No, right. Like he can still sit on it at the at the restaurant. Doesn't quite have to pull it out of his back pocket, but it's getting there. It's getting there.
And that's the worst reference I could possibly make because not even I have ever even had the checkbook. So it's gonna send some Banelings into that base. You see the BCs taking a beating now. Remember what I said? Defensive BCs. Where do you teleport? It's like, okay, you're gonna go back to your other base and try to get repaired, but still very dangerous. Thankfully, the siege tanks are actually the best part of this army because siege tanks, unless there are Vipers and or Broodlords, siege tanks are never bad to have. I don't like them because it's hard to move out with them, but defensively, they're going to be great. So you have to build Broodlords, which does kind of shift the dynamic because then you can't have as many Corruptors or you can't have as many of these wow.
Ooh, great flank here. Takes out quite a few of those Cyclones as they start to lock on here, trading out.
He biled himself, and I was like, oh.
Mineral line as well.
He's getting transformation servos finally. 17 Hellions and 13 Cyclones. Problem with this army is it's like, I'm trying to think. It's like a really thinly cut, like beef brisket appetizer,
Yeah.
Like it's not bad by any means.
Yeah, you'll take it.
It's not a main course.
No, you need a little bit more fat, a little bit thicker cut on that brisket.
That's not going to fill anybody's stomach. This Hellion Cyclone is not a full-fledged army.
Like it didn't even come with any bread, It's just a little lacking.
Yeah, and it's sure you can do. It's great. You can do a lot with it. You can put it on crackers. You can do all sorts of stuff, but he needs to think about where he wants to be, because I actually don't think sticking on Hellion Cyclone is going to allow him to win this match. He can do this counterattack type stuff, which is really good.
It is nice, but yeah, as you said,
the Ravager
very
mainly
hard to take a straight-on engagement. These Ravagers trading out on the bottom side.
The Ravager Ling Bane should be able to clean this up. I say that, he does have to bring the Broodlords back, so buy some time.
Yeah.
The top base was killed, but I'd like to see an anchor. Oh, okay, there we go. So he's going to start 4 Thors. And 7 years ago, our great nation defeated the Zerg. He's getting a second armory, so I think he's realized he needs upgrades as well. 6 Thors in production at once. Oh my god.
You love it. 6 Gundam mechs.
I'd like it to be known that get Liberator range. Get it right now, honey. That's the next step here. Thor Liberator Hellion is the super composition in TvZ that people just don't talk about enough. I've had some chats with TY and Gumiho about this. It's really good.
Yeah.
Like lots of Thors versus Zerg. It's very, very strong. If you have enough support to keep Infestors from getting easy neurals, like Thors truck Broodlords super hard. And they can tank hits from the Banelings. The Biles, yeah, it can be a little bit annoying depending on how many Ravagers there are, but Thor's 2-shot Ravagers.
Oh, wow.
So in a weird way, a lot of these armies are worse than the old school Mass Roach. Except for the fact that, like, with Servos, Hellions with turning into Hellbats can actually help you deal with the Roaches better than the old school days of, like, you know, Wings of Liberty mech where Mass Roach just killed Hellion Thor. But Hellbats give you a little bit more of that oomph. But I like the Thors. They're a really good core. The Thor is that's your thick Wagyu steak or whatever, okay? That's it. That's what you came for.
That's waiting in the back line of this army as they continue to add on more. Vikings getting added on in the sky as well.
Neural Parasite is good against this, but the best way to cover this is with ranged Liberators. He's really tunnel visioning on the air, which I do find slightly perturbing because he's building Vikings, and I think that I think Vikings at this point in the game probably they're
not going to be bringing much value, right?
You know, I'll put my reputation on the line and just say, as a mech expert, Vikings in this situation are almost always bad because they're just, like, the Thors are going to do the job better, and I'd rather have, like, either more Hellions or Cyclones to support my Thors, but it's not the end of the world. He should also make sure he gets all of his Thors in single target mode because they have more range that way, too. Yeah,
and the range going to be so crucial here.
This army is freaking awesome. This right here is the boulder, and I'm not entirely sure a Haymaker from Chris Redfield could stop it.
No, he's going to need at minimum, you know, the overpowered shotgun in order to deal with this.
Yeah, so there's the infested Terrans that are coming out.
Okay,
it's not as much about the ground here. I just teleport the BCs away. Okay, that's good. Gets a neural on the Thor, but that's just one. He's going to kill his own Thor because he says screw it.
Yeah. Doesn't want to put up with it.
Liberators would be the best support to add to this, but at some point it becomes almost impossible to kill this many Thors as long as they're supported. Because if you make it all about the neurals, the Hellbats can kill infested Terrans, and they can actually get onto those other units. But
yeah, can dive on top of those infestors, make life difficult. 16 workers dying on the backside of this as well. Another Baneling run by as the Dorito Cannon goes on top of those Corruptors, making it so much harder for them to take that fight.
I'm afraid about how slow Jason's going with this, but also like I wish that BC teleport when he ran away had gone to like one of the other expansions. It is hard to get some support against the Queens and the Ravagers and the Infestors.
You got a lot of hits here.
The siege tank's not being target fired either. It's shooting at the Broodlings, which is helping to kill the Thors. So it's a really good idea, but I do think that there are a few support unit choices that could have been a lot better. Namely being like Liberators with range are really good if he had made a transition there. But having the battle cruisers with your army, they're never going to do anything because there are going to be Corruptors or whatever. In that situation, I really like in some of the Korean Terrans, I think Maru's done this, is when you get into a fight when you're playing mech out of a BC opening, you teleport it to one of the furthest possible away base. Or to like the main, where you know a piece of tech is that you're like normally you wouldn't want to suicide 3 BCs, but they're just not going to give you any more value when you're playing with an army like that.
Exactly, not bringing anything in those main engagements. And it wasn't like we saw this web of spore crawlers or anything. We saw a lot of spine crawlers getting added on to help defend against those run-bys to great effect. Those Cyclones not being able to do a lot. Really well done by Silky in terms of defending that. And yeah, I completely agree. Would have loved to see that multi-prong get picked up.
I liked everything that I saw. I just think that he pushed it a little soon. Like, he had all that production that we talked about.
Right.
And it was in factories rather than starports. That's one of the reasons why for Hellion Cyclone, 7 factory makes sense.
Yeah.
For Thor Hellion, not so much, because building, I mean, it was cool. He built 6 Thors at once.
It was pretty awesome.
Which is kind of awesome.
Yes.
But if he has 4 to 7, I'm going to say, I'd be really happy with like 6 to 8 ranged Liberators supporting that. You siege those in front of the Thors, and the Infestors absolutely cannot. Yeah, because they just won't be able to deal with it. And the battle cruisers don't provide a great amount of support. Dorito Cannon, Thors don't care about that. They're not even shooting the Corruptors if there's other units they can attack nearby.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you do 60 damage a shot, 3 armor is not really a huge deal.
Yeah, not really a sweat off the Thor's brow, as we are going to be going into King's Cove for map number 2.
Did like the transition though. I'll say that the right idea is there, but you need something other than just Hellion Thor, or the Neural Parasite is actually good.
Right.
But we are loaded in. Yep, King's Cove, as you said. And Jason getting back on the horse for WCS Challenger, a name that y'all probably haven't seen too much here, but maybe in the chat. Actually, he might have been posting in the chat here all weekend long. So that
Very
would
possible.
be. He's a very involved member of the StarCraft 2 Twitch community.
He really is, and it's always great to see those guys.
He's a good dude.
Making it in here. He is very respectable individual.
Oftentimes you'll tune in and he'll be memeing with like sunglasses on, listening to Toto Africa, and other times he has like his, I think half of his streams a week or something, he does like try-hard mode where he just turns everything off except his camera feed, and it's like basically like watching a Korean stream from 6 years ago without the bad music.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Good times as...
Also, when you run the audio bitrate, because those guys didn't know how to set their stuff up properly, when you run the audio bitrate low enough, every song sounds bad. Every song.
I remember being really amazed at how bad all the music could sound on those streams. And the keyboard would still, that was
still be clacking very loudly.
Yes.
Yes.
And then the player still not saying anything. It's like, you clearly have a mic.
Yeah, insert the parting clip.
Did you see him singing Despacito last night?
I missed that.
Oh God, it was incredible.
If it was so good, why didn't they make a second one? Like, were they out of ideas? Jeez.
Come on, Migos. What are you doing?
So there's the factory. It's a Reaper expand. Very standard, very straight up, very normal. Pull timing is normal. Reactor after the Reaper. So we're not gonna see too much until we get to that point in the game.
Yeah.
Silky, who is it? Someone was telling me. Silky's been, so I think he's close to graduating or something like that.
Just graduated actually. This past season of TESPA was his last.
That was his last, right? So he's got some other stuff going on in his life now too. But good to see him making his way here in Challenger. So many players.
Really awesome to see him coming out. All the Sidestorm boys having a fantastic season so far.
When the Queen pops out right in front of you as you're trying to run away. Oh, hokey.
That's very nice.
I wanted to believe. He really wanted that creep tumor, which would have been a massive pickoff, but he didn't get it. So
high risk, high reward, and Silky will come out on top.
Yeah, I would say that the Reaper doesn't matter past this stage, but that would be lying because he's building Hellions. So Reaper Hellion, it's always nice to have the Reaper up front because it heals itself. And it doesn't cost money to heal itself.
Indeed. As Speed finishing up for those Zerglings on the other side of this for Silky, and picking off that Reaper is very nice for him. Doesn't have to worry about any early, that Reaper hopping in, getting that scout off. If Jason wants to get a scout of that main base, has to invest a scan or wait for a later unit.
Could scout it with whatever his first air harass is. It's a Banshee. It's a Banshee.
A Banshee. And, I'm still not a fan of the Banshee, Nate. I gotta say.
Well, I'm not gonna say that it's. I'll try not to say that it's bad. I personally really don't like Banshee openers, and I rarely see Terran players get the value out of it that they're looking for. But and that boils down to Spore crawlers are really cheap because you don't need a tech building to build them or anything,
Yeah, and you know, it's much higher queen count on average these days to help counteract that earlier battlecruiser.
Did you know that once upon a time, for one patch of the Legacy of the Void Beta, missile turrets only required having a barracks?
Really?
It was the best of times. It was
Wow.
the best of times.
Or the worst of times if you're the other races.
Well, it was like there was this build, the Power Oracle build, which killed most people back when it two-shot everything, and Adepts two-shot everything. And then I believe they were like, it was something to the effect of like, not enough people used it, so they put it back on the eBay. And I'm like, why would you do this to me?
Yeah, I think that was right around the time I got branded.
Oh yeah, yeah, that'll do it. When MC and Huck won that tournament off of a Warp Prism with Adepts because it had like 200 health and one-shot everything.
Exactly. It was right between then and when Huck started building nexuses in people's bases and overcharging it.
Yes.
Right in that window.
I remember those days. I remember. So he's gonna go bio this game. Got the stem on the way.
Yeah. Nice. I like this choice on this map, especially given the. You know, the lack of success we've seen from that mech play earlier.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I'm always going to lean towards when I think about what makes mech good is I'm going to go against some of my own personal beliefs about real life stuff, but it's not just about the meat on the sandwich. It is about everything else that goes on top of it.
Right.
Thors are great. I love Thors. On their own with nothing else, they suck.
Indeed.
If with Hellions, they are pretty good. With Hellbats, they are very sturdy. With Liberators, they are unholy behemoth nightmares that are extremely hard to engage.
Indeed.
Because they have the 11 range against air, and then the Liberators have like, I think if you do it perfectly, like 13 or 14 range against ground. But yeah, like those two units just synergize really well. So if he doesn't want to play that style, then I would say that I agree with you and he should stick to the bio memes because every time I tune into Jason's stream, he's quite good with the bio.
He's really potent with it. I've been really impressed with it. Yeah, his marine splits, his multi-prong. You know, when Jason is on, like he is absolutely like, you know, the last series aside, he's absolutely capable of taking this game, potentially taking the series as well, whenever he's playing at his highest level. I do believe that.
Yeah. Of course, Silky, we've talked about. He's a guy that's taken games and series off of Neeb and Challenger, so
he's so good.
He comes into this group as a favorite to get out, in my opinion. I think that Puck's current form, though, is maybe the only reason why I think that he might not get out. Because for me, and I'm very close friends with Puck, but Puck is, as far as players that you could get in a group go, he's very hit or miss. He's either going to play really well or he's going to play really bad.
Right.
It's never really in between. Puck doesn't have close games for the most part, so unless he's like making a sick comeback.
This bio pushing very far forward here with the Hellbats, being right on top of the Queens.
That's why you keep the Hellions alive from the start and having the Stim Marines here. This is nice, but the Mutalisks come out, and that with the Roach support is going to be enough to push Jason back. If he could somehow save these two medevacs, that would be huge.
Yeah, just prior to that 1-1 finishing for those Marines, so not quite the maximum strength of that army, but yeah, those Mutas.
He was ready too. He waited for the Roaches to come up, and he was going to dive on it again because he really wants those medevacs. That's a really big way to take the wind out of a Terran's sails early on.
Force you to remake those expensive units. Great pick up there.
So I'm just curious. We've had 2 Mutas killed so far, considering the state of the game.
Not too shabby.
He's building more Mutas, so it's nice because he's if anything, you at least slow down by the 200 that rise up to the point where Zergs who want to build Mutas, if they decide to build a lot, they just want to get to the point where if you even repairing like a missile turret and you somehow keep it alive, that they're just killing every SCV with the bounces.
Right.
Or that they can just literally fly in and just smite down turrets. But this is exactly what you want to be doing with the Mutalisks. It's really good, getting towards the production between bases, grabbing reinforcement lines, but be cautious. Almost lost another one there.
Has to respect that bio as it is coming forward. These Marines with the 1-1.
Oh my god.
So potent, taking so many of these down to just 1
blood
HP.
pressure. Remember, Nathan. Remember, everything's cool. Everything's cool.
Deep breaths, happy thoughts.
I can't believe. Wow, he hasn't lost any mutas since that initial engagement, so.
Yeah.
But maybe that'll change. I'm gonna stop talking.
Okay, nope, they're gonna stay alive for the foreseeable future. +1 fire attack coming up, +2 carapace on the way for Silky, as well as that 2-2 for this bio. Jason doing a good job keeping on top of his upgrades this time with this bio.
yeah, I mean, upgrades are looking really good. Something that is confusing me. I don't know how this happened, but there's no +2 melee. Has he done everything off 1 Evo? No, he hasn't. He just didn't get +2. Mutas are coming in to harass while there's a fight in the middle. Those tanks on the high ground blasting away.
Yeah, firing away. 6 workers go down to that Muta harass at the top side as they start to loop back around, waiting in the wings. Potentially could see them flank that tank line if this bio overextends.
He's adding 5 more Mutalisks, so he really does want to build up to that like almost base trade tier number, but flies over the Marines, and I think that puts us at 5 dead Mutas. So 5 dead Mutalisks this game. It's big.
Yeah, very, very nice.
The difference between him being at 25 and 14 right now, it feels like, or 20 or 14. So it's pretty big.
Yeah, significant difference both in terms of DPS and you know, where they're able to contribute to this game.
I think the magic number for Mutas is like it's as close to 30 as you can get, but like 25 will be enough that you can just kind of fly around with impunity. So every Muta shaved off is huge, but there's a massive Ling Bane Ravager setup outside of this ramp by the 3rd and the 4th. Trying to get
the Mutas on the side took down the tanks. Oh my goodness, this is a phenomenal fight for Silky. Oh man, the bio in the back getting taken down, coming down that ramp, but another wave of Banelings is here. Oh, well, they're just gonna...
Yeah, that was... Not having the creep spread does allow the bio to fight a bit more competitively against this. The Mutalisk count still at 14. He didn't lose any during that fight, so he's able to keep the pressure on. And 2-2 finished, but hey, considering that his +2 melee is really late, and he's building a ton more Ling Bane, getting both engineering bays is actually a monster pickup because that's a huge delay on 3-3, which allows Silky to catch up in upgrades. Yeah, gives him that time. As now the 4th base needs to get resaturated here for Silky. As these Mutas continue, or for Jason, pardon me, as these Mutas continue to roam through the center of the map, continue just to wreak terror in the eyes of Jason. Zerg's dream, by the way, is to kill that planetary when they do that, and he's going to try again. He's got so many Banelings right now. This is massive. That's going to be very important to try and stave this off. This is like I think going mines would be a lot more effective in this situation, personally. Yes, I'm generally not a fan of tanks outside of a TVT or early TVP, but or I guess early TvZ. He's got enough now. Kind of lemming in there. Ooh, and the Mutas in the natural Muta base though going to be taking down 7, 8 workers. You know what he wants them to do is to stem those Marines back and then slam all these Banelings into the planetary, and then he doesn't care what he loses here. He's got a ton of money. Shut that down. If he blows up that planetary fortress, then he doesn't. Oh my goodness! Here we go. Banelings rolling forward, rolling into that bio, but great splits by Jason, keeping so many of them alive. And the planetary staying alive. The repairs coming through. Here are the bios. Oh my goodness! Keeping it alive. That's huge. Very nicely done by Jason here as Silky gets routed in the center of the map. That's absolutely massive. Resources lost looks really good for Jason right now. 3,000 difference at this point is pretty big. That was pretty much all in gas. Worth mentioning, chitinous plating and +3 carapace are on the way. Those engineering bays did not start upgrades for Jason. So if he gets behind on upgrades and he's still playing primarily Marines, those Ultralisks are going to dab so hard on him. It is going to be painful. It is, they're going to... I don't know if Blizzard put T-pose animations in for the default Zerg models, but if they did, we're going to see probably some of that too. Absolutely. T-posing out the wazoo here as those first 7 Ultras are popping out. 3-3 starts, and my concern now is that while he did survive the storm, if a Terran player ever has a gas float, it means that they lost a huge part of their army and they have been tunnel visioning way too hard on Marines. That's really the only reason that this happens, because for the same reason, not a lot of Terran players will take too much of their gas, but he needs to get some tech units up is what I'm really saying. But these Ultras are here. Yeah, coming They're ready to fight. Right on top of the tanks already here, starting to get some good hits and getting right on top of the planetary as well. The repair's not coming through this time, and that's just going to be too much. GG. He had a nice army, but what happened there was that he made that big throw to try and crush the 4th base. He failed. There was no creep there, but Jason was just building Marines. He was building a Marine tank, and I think he just missed the read or the scout on the transition. He maybe thought that there would just be more Ravager Ling Bane, in which case Marine tank is fine. But that many Marines, when +3 chitinous armor Ultras come running, 7 of them, with 40 Banelings behind them,
Yeah, that is. I mean,
dead.
yeah, don't have to be Grandmaster to do the math there. That is a brutal proposition to try and fight against. Yeah,
But,
really well done by Silky there.
so
Great series
Jason-
from him.
Jason gets eliminated, but really good to see him play. We love you,
Absolutely.
Jason.
Yeah.
And
And of course,
totally.
congrats, Sal, on the marriage.
Yeah. So I'm just going to give Jason the benefit of the doubt and say that he was probably just partying a little too hard last night.
Yeah.
With that being said, we do have the rest of our games pretty much set. Coming up next is going to be our winners match. Followed by that, Silky will face the loser of the winners. So, hope you're excited for another wonderful Protoss versus Zerg. It's going to be Scarlet versus Puck. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.